Hello, everyone. How are we this Tuesday morning? Guess I should turn on some microphones so you all can hear me. Come on. What is the deal? What's the deal, Lucille? Something has happened over here. Something had to happen. Time out. That's what's happened. This has been crushed somehow. It won't fit. Wow. That was a line. It shouldn't sit near the rolling wheels of my chair. That won't help it, huh? Good morning, everybody. We're here. Turn down so I can see all the messages. Make sure everybody can see. Hope you all are ready for a good Tuesday. Yesterday, the price action was blah. Didn't really do a lot yesterday as far as price movement. It was kind of waiting. I think the price was actually waiting yesterday for some stuff that's going to happen probably tomorrow. Waiting for the inflationary data. We've got some folks who just anticipating. They got their fingers on the trigger. They ready to go. Let's see what y'all do and go from there, right? That's what's going on with that. Let's look real quick at price action to see what was the deal from yesterday. We'll take this back to a one screen and we'll go to SPX. Yesterday on the daily chart, you see this little red candle, little bitty, itty bitty, was our candle for yesterday. That's what yesterday looked like. It opened and closed within about 9 points. Opened at 52.11 and closed at 52.09. And notice the wicks are also very small. It didn't do much movement. SPX didn't do much movement at all yesterday. Basically was just chilling. And that was seen across the board. Now, what that will do, through the course of today, not real sure. We'll have to wait and see. Basically, have to wait and see. Let's look this morning and see what the VIX has. The VIX is at 15.2. So the VIX is up. We're in a nice environment for sellers this morning, 15.2. Right, we were at the 12s and 13s a few days ago, but now that inflation is coming and all the pieces and parts are coming together, it's a little more quote unquote fear in the market. So folks are waiting to see what's going to happen. That's what's going on with the VIX. AI trade has a Jamie Dimon problem. State AI laws are creating a mess for U.S. businesses. Wall Street just gave its highest S&P 500 forecast yet. Ooh, that will be interesting. U.S. futures stuck in a holding pattern ahead of CPI, which I was just talking about there. Looks like the mark for stock projections for 2024 has once again moved up. Wells Fargo strategy, the S&P 500 to 55.35. Basically, its target for SPX is 55.35. So, yeah, these are all the other people issued the highest year-end forecast yet. These other folks have it in the 55. UBS has it 54. Bank of America, Barclays at 53. Piper Sandler, Goldman Sachs has it at 5,200, which we're really past 5,200 at this point. Citi and those guys have it a little lower. Morgan Stanley has it at 45 and JP Morgan at 4,200. We're in the 5,000s at this point. Wells Fargo says we think we're going up to 55.35. That's what Wells Fargo had to say. All righty, so let's look at CNBC this morning. At this point, our pre-market, the Dow, the S&P futures, and the NASDAQ futures are all green, pretty good green. Stock futures inch higher as investors await the March inflation data. Oil and 10-year bonds are both red, but NASDAQ futures up 0.37%, S&P futures up 0.24%, and Dow futures up 0.10%. If you look over in Europe, we got a lot of red over in Europe. The only one that's green over there is the FTSE. But the DAX, CAC, FTSE, MIB, and Stock 600 are all red. European markets lower as investors look ahead to U.S. inflation data. ATOS falls 10% on the debt plan. That's all over in Europe. Europe is 80% red. Unlike Asia, which is the complete opposite, which is 80% green. ASX 200, the Nikkei is green. Hang Seng, which is the Hong Kong, it's green. And Shanghai is barely green, 0.05%. But the Kospi is down 0.46%. Asian markets are mixed as investors assess Australia and Japan data. Investors await U.S. inflation data. All eyes on the inflation data. We're waiting to see what's going on. They want to see what's going on. Today's Tuesday. Yesterday, there was no news, so that's why we definitely had no movement as far as that went. Today, Tuesday, NFIB Small Business Index and the RCM Tip Economic Optimism. Both of these are yellow folders. Actually, the RCM Tip doesn't even have a time, basically. Tomorrow, though, is where we will see some things. In the morning before the market opens, we've got core CPI, Consumer Price Index, is coming up in the morning. Hey, Tamar. Hey, Adrian. Hey, Tanya. And hey, Janae. Good morning. And good morning, Karen. That's all consumer price indexes tomorrow morning before the market opens. Anticipate some volatility after that, okay? 8:45, we've got FOMC member Bowman is speaking. Wholesale inventories, crude oil inventories in the 10 o'clock hour. 12:45, FOMC member Barkin will speak. And at 1 o'clock, we got 10-year bond auction. Both of those are orange voters. And at 2 p.m., this is tomorrow, at 2 p.m. tomorrow, FOMC member, FOMC meeting minutes, FOMC meeting minutes will come out at 2 o'clock tomorrow, and the federal budget balance. That's going to cause a little bit of volatility as well. So tomorrow, start up the market, also waiting for 2 o'clock. This is where it's going to be a little bit interesting. On Thursday, we'll have the producer price index, which is more inflation stuff. That'll happen on Thursday. Okay, so keep in mind that this inflationary data is what's driving a lot of our, I won't call it stagnation, but we're kind of just consolidating and waiting. We're still waiting. We're waiting, just basically waiting. May not be opportunities. But you know what? A day like yesterday would have been really great. What do you think would have been a good thing to do yesterday? What would have been a good thing to do yesterday? An iron condor. Iron condor is what would have been a good thing to do yesterday. And why is that? Because, come on, let me type something. There we go. Iron condors are great trades for consolidation days. Now, the only thing you run into with doing iron condors on something like an SPX is that you don't know it's going to be a consolidation day until the majority of the day is over. You got to wait a while. So this is where you do a call credit spread above where you think price will expire. You do a put credit spread below where you believe price will expire. You need price to end in the middle. Basically, the only thing is you don't see that that's going to be a thing until the day has pretty much expired. So let's see. This is, if we start looking here on the 8th, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so we can kind of only see the 8th. Right? This, what we see here is the 8th. This is the information from the price action from the 8th. So once we went up here and got our top, got a little high top here, this would have been, let me see, call credit spread above, what was this number here? Above maybe 52.20 would have been cool. And then you would have done, once you got a low set in, you could have done a put. Every time I'm typing faster than my text thing is allowing me on TradingView. Then you could have done a put credit spread below, this would have been our low, below our low of the day, which is 5,200. So below 5,200. Call credit spread above 52.20. Put credit spread below 5,200. Again, after the fact, you can always see what's a great trade, right? Is that always the way it works? It's the end after the day's over. Yep, I see what I could have done. But keep in mind, if we've got just consolidation and you kind of know it's going to be a quiet day, then you can look, definitely you can investigate, put credit spreads and call credit spreads and do iron condors, pull in money from both sides using the same collateral. All right. Again, it's always easy to see the trade after the day is over. You're looking back at the candles like, oh, I can perfectly see what I could have done. That's usually what happens, but it's usually too late. It's usually too late. Okay, I want to go back here. Let's go and look at some. We had earnings this morning. Tilray was this morning. Cognite, I'm thinking Cognite, and Neogen. I'm going to look at Tilray on our chart here in a minute. ABHR was today's Tuesday, so this is before the morning. Tilray was this morning. WD-40 will be after market. Price March will be after, and then Delta will be tomorrow morning. Okay, so this is something you may want to look into for tomorrow morning. Would be the Delta, and we'll check Tilray. I'm going to look at Tilray is in the cannabis space. For those who are, hey, Mr. Earl, for those of us, or those of us, you who are in the cannabis space, I won't say us, I don't trade cannabis, but that doesn't mean that there's not opportunity. I really think that the cannabis, this is my own personal opinion, not investment advice, but I really feel like the cannabis space is going to it's going to jump and pop after we get closer to federal approval. Once it's no longer illegal on a federal level, then there's going to be financial institutions that are going to be able to put money behind these things. And of course, the agenda for the cannabis is primarily a medical agenda, right? People aren't really pushing it as much for recreational use, not as a way to get it approved on the ballot. Nobody's saying, oh, people just want to be able. That's not, they're not using that. They're using the medical things, which I have friends who needed to use cannabis because they had some severe issues, whether that be cancer or some other things, and cannabis or THC cannabis was something that was very helpful. So I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I think once those things start to move and it's approved federally, it's not illegal anymore, then you're going to see money start to get behind it. A lot of these cannabis growers have basically had to bootstrap their own way, and they're still managing to make it. So imagine what would happen if your business that was making it when there was no funding, when there wasn't no like bank funding and loan funding and lending. If your business could make it during that, how would it do, and how successful would it be if it had additional resources? So I think some of these names are going to pop. The thing is, for like everything, like the EV space, which one is going to pop? Because we really thought like ChargePoint was going to pop in the EV space. You thought Plug was going to pop and Blink, and those things kind of like, they kind of fizzled off. So we have to see which one. So it may be best, again, not financial advice, may be best to look at some ETFs in this space to say, well, if I'm getting exposed to several of the stocks in this space, then when one of them pops, the ETF moves. That may be just a thought for what you do. If you're not sure which one to pick. And I did not mean to get off on the cannabis discussion. I just was saying, I think it's going to start to make some moves after they get past legalization. Let's look at Adam's numbers. Adam Mancini is a trader, a level to level trader, or he is a buying trader of the ES on Twitter. He has a whole bunch of stuff. We use his numbers to help us with SPX for those who trade SPX. He says here, we take the numbers from the ES and we adjust them down to the SPX. You see here the gap between ES and SPX is currently 50 points. So I look at the ES numbers, subtract 50, and then those are SPX numbers. So yesterday, 52.13 and 52.20 were Adam's targets in SPX as long as 51.96 holds. We held 51.96 4 times since Sunday, making it to the targets as posted. Keep holding small long runners. We are triangling for a leg. Triangling for a leg basically means we're kind of and then at some point it's going to pop out up or it's going to pop out down, right? You compress a string or compress a spring that's smaller. Next thing you know, it has to release, and it releases going in one direction or the other, right? The plan today is no change. 51.96 is weak. 51.82 and 51.75 are supports. This keeps 52.13, 52.24, and 52.35 plus alive. So if you're trading XSP, I got you over here, 524 calls and 517 on the put. This is put credit spreads. Remember, we are sellers, so I'm coming at this from a seller standpoint, which says if you're looking for the low side, 517, according to what we see here, maybe the lowest it would go. So you can look at put credit spreads down there. And as high as it may go is 524 based on what we see up here. And 524 calls could be the highest it may go for call credit spreads. Okay, that's what's going on with that. I wanted to look today at some of the top movers. I'm going to add this to our morning calls, and that is to look at what are the biggest movers. We look at when we look at American Eagle is what I want. Look at CNBC in the morning. They do tell us the biggest movers. So I want to share what are the biggest movers that are going and that potentially can give you some opportunities for the day. All right, I want you to give what could we be looking at today? I find that when you're looking at a watch list, I think you should have a few stocks, 1, 2, or 3 that you watch on trade all the time, because that way you're going to get very familiar with their movement. If you're a long-term trader, then you get into the trades you're going to get in and you see what's going on. If you're trading day to day or week to week, then you may want to look at some other things that are popping or maybe moving. Okay. Janae says she has Netflix, Nvidia, and is that Burger King? BNKG? Is that Burger King? Okay. So you should have 2 or 3 stocks that you like and that you trade every day. Like I like to watch and trade SPY because I think, SPY has lots of volume, lots of open interest. The prices are pretty good. Of course, SPY has some drawbacks. What is the drawback of SPY? It's that there's so many stocks in it that news on one stock will move SPY in another direction. You're like, no, it's an ETF. If you're just dealing with just a stock, then all you really got to watch is that stock. But when you're dealing with something like SPY and SPX, you got to be mindful of all the stocks that are in there. I get that, but I do still like the liquidity and all that stuff of SPY. So either way, American Outfitters is one of the biggest movers in the morning. It basically got upgraded by JP Morgan yesterday, which may be why it's got an upgrade. This is the daily chart. This is the daily chart. If I was putting some lines on it, I would look at some support here in the 24.42 area. Could it bounce off of here? It sure could. Well, looking back here, you got some support back here. You got support even back as far as into the earlier March timeframe, right? So it hit that support area a couple days ago, Thursday, and it did pop up and then come back down right to that support area. But now that it's got a little bit of the biggest movers, let me see if I can see it in the pre-market. This is it in the pre-market, right? I want to delete that. I don't want you. It's popped up in the pre-market. Might provide an opportunity. I say this again. I'm definitely not suggesting. Not suggesting anything as financial advice, but I'm saying that since you see support is here, then you may possibly consider a put credit spread below the support. And the support is like 24. Support of 24.37 is the one I have as daily support. You may want to consider a put credit spread there. Of course, you got to go out for the week because American Eagle, this is what we're looking at. American Eagle AEO it's going to expire on Friday. Go through our steps. Y'all know we got steps that we utilize here. We do looking for the probability out of the money, which if we come in here, it's a small mover, right? 0.8 by the end of the week. So the premium spread may not be sufficient, something you really like, but I feel like if you're at the 24.3 was our support. So if you're here at like 24.5 or 24, not investment advice, but look here to say, I like 24.5, turning into a vertical. This is a 50-cent spread. Once the market opens, these numbers are going to change. Looks like it's paying $16 for a 50-cent spread. 32% return on your money in 3 days. Yeah, I think that's something. I think that's something you. Oh, booking. BKNG. I was like, Burger King? Janae. So look at 24, 23.5, 24 also is paying. Oh, that's not right. It might be $24 for a 50-cent spread. I'm not sure why the other one said 16 and it was a higher strike. But definitely when the market opens, check the strikes that you like on American Eagle. That's one of the biggest movers. One of the biggest movers I see for the morning. The other one I saw, let's go back to my chart. Looks like Alley Bank, Alley Financial was also one of the biggest movers for this morning. It was also upgraded by Bank of America. It was upgraded by Bank of America. Talking about the biggest movers, right? Talking about the biggest movers. When I look at support, I see some here in the 38 range. Got some, let's go with this. The 38 range, we probably could pull in some more data. You got this as resistance here where it basically became support. The last 2 days it has been moving upwards. It's currently at 38.57. So if you wanted, now if you were feeling, a little less generous and you wanted to be a little more conservative, you could go down to 37.80. Or if you want to go even lower, you've got 37.27, right? You've got several support levels that you really could work with here. So I would look somewhere, I would do a put credit spread in this general vicinity. Put credit spread at or below 38. At or below 38 is what I would look at. Let's go look on, this is Alley. I'm gonna go to the single. Yep, I got 7 minutes before the market opens, so I'm kind of in good shape. Okay, so if we're looking here, 70% probability out of the money is at the 38 strike, which is the one I just mentioned. You see that? Is at 38. Let's change over to vertical, see what kind of money we talk about. It's another 50-cent spread. 50-cent spread means you're going to leverage $50 and you're going to collect a premium. You're going to collect, but this one is paying $10 for a 50-cent spread. That's a 20% return on your money. 20% return on your money by the end of this week because April the 12th is your expiration. If you're feeling a little more froggy and you think you can, jump in a little bit, I don't want that one. You can jump in a little closer, right? I want to show you here, there is a little gap here and this gap will provide some support. It's a little gap between Friday and Monday, right? There's a little gap there. So the bottom of this gap should also provide some support. And the bottom of this gap is at 39.39. So you may be able to look at even 38.50. Did I say 38 or did I say 39? I said 38. I feel like I said 39. But if you looked at 38.5, little closer, that's actually paying $20. The market is closed. So these numbers are going to adjust a bit once the market is open. So you're going to want to look at that. But if you're looking at 38.5 with the thought that the price is going to continue to rise on up. What you needed to do is get up high enough for you to close it. If you get in for 20 and you can get out at 5, you made good money. You made $15 off a 50-cent spread. That's good stuff, right? I actually like both of those from a seller standpoint. Let's go look at the last one. Another one. The next one I will look at will be Coors. Coors also got upgraded. Coors got updated. Molson Coors beverage. The beverages. It got upgraded also by Goldman Sachs. It got upgraded yesterday. Now it looks like it's kind of been taking a turn back. It's kind of turning. It's called TAP is the ticker. It's not Coors, it's TAP. What I see for support is down in the 65.48 area. And this fell down right to the moving averages. So you may be able to also use this as a support. Okay. I hear it buzzing. Maybe it's me. I'm going to see some water. Maybe it's buzzing inside my brain. Okay. Now, we're wise master traders over here. Even if you're not, I want you to declare it over your life. I am a wise master trader. I'm a wise trader. Even if you're not a master trader, you can say, I'm a wise trader because we're wise here. So we also know that there may be opportunity on the downside, right? We can maybe look at, now I want you to be careful with this part because if it's popping, right? Oh yeah, well, let me go back because I'm finna take back what I said. But the pre-market is at 68.80. It has already surpassed all of this in the pre-market. I need a bigger time frame so I can see some support. Some resistance up here. We got some resistance up here in the $70 range. It's currently though in the pre-market, it's at 68.80. It has already popped. It started popping. It's already started popping. But it does have a good strong resistance at $70.57. I need to turn on. Not that. I needed that on. Why is it not showing me anything? Okay. Don't know why I'm not seeing my stuff. Anyway, 70.57 is good resistance, and it's currently at 68.69 at this point. So the pop is on you. It's already popping. Right? If we go to like a 15-minute chart, you can see in the pre-market, it's already started to jump. Pew, pew, pew. So how do we make this work for us? How do we make this work for us? Well, we look at a put credit spread at or below. I would stick with the 66 or 67. I'm going to go look on the option chain. But the reason I'm saying I would stick with below this support is there's a big gap that has now been created that will be created by this open up. Right now, there's support inside the gap. So you may be able to find some supports inside of here. But you definitely want to take your time and look on your option chain and such to make sure once the market is open. At this point, we've got 65 as a good probability out of the money, right? 65 is what we're just talking about. We've got a plus minus 2, but the current price of TAP is now at 69.20. It's at 69.20. Right, it's jumping to a 2.5 spread. They jumped quick. Most of them don't jump. Oh no, I'm in the wrong. There we go. Let me go back to. Oh no, TAP only has monthly expirations. So it's going to expire. The expiration you can pick is the 19th of April. So that means you got to go an extra week out. You're going to want to make sure that you chart on the daily, right? And you're going to chart. We chart on the daily. We looked on the weekly. If you're looking on the weekly, you also want to make sure that you're in a good support area on the weekly chart to make sure that you feel like if it goes for 9 to 10 days, as far as, well, it's about 8 trading days, that you're going to feel confident with your strike. This 65 is support for us here. And there's a good resistance over here at 66.82, which is almost where we are now. So it dropped through that, but it's also up now. And all of this resistance now is support. Right? All of this wiki, all these long wikis, wiki. All of that is now support. There you go. The market just opened and TAP just popped, baby. We got to open. Pew, pew. Let's see what it says on the option chain. Come on, TAP. Let's see if we can get us something here. Still got 67.5 as over 70% probability out of the money. Remember, our strike was like a 65. I'm changing to vertical. If you want to go, it's a 2.5 spread. So keep that in mind. 2.5 spread, and it's paying $15. I wouldn't necessarily fool up with that. If you're going to leverage 250, you want to make more. You want to make more than $15 there. 67.5 would be the next one up. These numbers aren't right, basically. I don't think they're ready. I don't think they were ready for this pop. because those numbers are not accurate. We looked at Alley, and what did we say we wanted to do for Alley? What would have been our good strike numbers? Alley's currently at 39. We said at or below 38 for our put credit spread. So if we're looking at 38, I want to go back to the single and see again. So we're looking in here, maybe 38.5, 38 for your strike. It says 25 debit. Yeah, that's wacky too. That's not the way that's supposed to look. This needs to say credit. That says $5 for the 38, 38.5. The next one down really should say credit. Something's going on with the option chain on Alley. Make sure that you check that out before you enter your trade. You want to make sure that it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. 24.5 is what we had, 24, 24.5 on American Eagle. Change it to vertical, 24.5. It's paying $11 at the 24.5, 24 spread trade. All right. That was the three. I wanted to show you the three of the biggest movers first thing this morning. You got Alley, right? Yes, we are wise traders. Alley, we had American Eagle, AEO, and you also had TAP, which is Coors. TAP is Coors. It actually basically after it popped like that real quick, it has also fallen right back into the zone. Right, we've got a long wick. This long wick is saying that there are people, the buyers want to go, but people are selling. People who had it and it popped. They're like, I'm taking my money off the table. Taking my money off the table. Okay. We do have our list of trade ideas for the week. I sure hope a lot of y'all got in on your Peakbot picks yesterday. Peakbot picks is what we do on Twitter every week. We take the Peakbot watch list and we're in a competition or a challenge where you pick and you're the ones that end up being at the end of the week profitable, then you get a point. And if the ones you pick weren't profitable, then you lose a point. But Peakbot, check out usepeakbot.com. Peakbot is a place for you to have automated, that needs to be an M on the end of that, automated trading for sellers. Automated trading for sellers, because most of the automated trading bots are not for sellers, they're for buyers. But we're sellers. We want to make sure that the sellers get checked for all the time. Don't be leaving us off, right? We want to be right here. Don't be leaving us out. And Peakbot is doing that. They've got the wheel. They're actually working, almost getting ready to release. It's in beta testing the spreads where even if your spread is breached, the bot will roll it for you. So you never have to worry about getting assigned. That's what people are usually worried about with spreads. They're worried about getting assigned. But if the bot rolls it for you to a safe place, then their assignment risk off the table. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for them to have that. Yeah, talk about hands free. What? If you ain't even worried about getting assigned? Count me in. Count me in. Alrighty. We do have this free. Start with the chart. The secret to maximizing your profits. It is for free. It's a free webinar. Start with the chart.com. It's a free webinar. Go ahead and avail yourselves of it, especially if you were looking at me do the charting and you're like, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you're doing that. How are you coming up with these lines? And of course, all I did was lines. There's a whole lot more to charting than that. There's looking at candles. There's looking at trends. There's looking at other stuff. And all of that indicators, all that is inside the Start with the Chart free webinar. For the free, for the free. All you have to exchange is your email. Okay. And if that's a problem for you, then all right. It won't cost you a thing to go ahead and avail yourself to some more knowledge, because all of this stuff we do comes back to that chart. Comes back to the chart. Okay. E2T membership is open. We have the morning calls, which is here now. We have our weekly training calls, which happen on Thursdays now, Thursday evenings. And we have a monthly coaching call the first week of the month. We have a Telegram group where we hang out together. It's been kind of quiet in there these days, though. We got to see what's going on with that. And but I'm there for when there's assistance needed and for training and growing and all those good things. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing is that. Okay. If we don't have anything else, let's see if our hearts and minds. Let's go check. I'm gonna go back and check on SPX before we go though, because we didn't even look at SPX before we opened up the trading today. Oh, I'm gonna go to the daily chart, maybe even the 5 minutes. Iron condors are great for consolidation days. We can take that off though. We're currently at 52.18. We definitely had a pop up open. We gapped up as well. A lot of see this big old wick on that first candle. Wow, popped up high too, and then dropped on back down, but it's still going up at this point. We're on the 5 minute chart, 52.19. It's up and moving, up and moving. Okay. Was just thinking about something. Let's look at our 15 minute. There's people who trade the breakout in our community, and they look for that first 15-minute candle to close, and then they see what kind of way the trend goes. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen. I'm talking on the chart, but y'all can't see my screen. There we go. Sorry, you all. Here we are. That's why it's good to have my phone over here so I can see what's happening. SPX has gapped up during the open. We got a gap between these two. Come on, give me what I'm looking for. That's the gap that was created this morning between 52.03 and 52.17. That was created this morning. We're at 522. It's kind of moving on about its way first thing this morning. But remember, don't be premature. Sometimes you can get, depending on what you're trading, you can get a little bit of movement off the volatility of the open. But then there's also times when we get to 10 o'clock and that 10 o'clock turnaround is a real thing, and it starts to turn around at 10 o'clock, and you don't want to be left holding any bags, right? So Jeff, you want to be careful and make sure that you're getting below the supports and being comfortable about where we're going. Okay. Now I think I can go on to the daily declaration. I declare I'm a great trader. I declare I'm a successful trader. I declare I'm a focused trader. I declare my wins exceed my losses. My account's growing more and more each week. I'm a wise and knowledgeable trader. I always make smart and lucrative decisions for my portfolios. I declare I'm a level-headed trader who does not trade my emotions. Lord, it's you who gives us the power to get wealth. You teach our hands to war with the purpose of establishing your kingdom. Help us today to trade wisely and strategically in order to fulfill this purpose. Give us more than enough so we can have what we need and enough to be a blessing to others. In Jesus' name, amen. All righty. I do want you to do two things today. Well, the three things. First thing I want you to do is make sure you subscribe to this channel. Don't just leave us out here hanging. You want to see us regularly. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that way you'll know when I'm on or what we're talking about. Second thing I want you to do is to stay green. And the third thing I want you to do is get this money. All right. I will see you all in the market. Goodbye, everyone.